This is probably one of the simplest logic, but Muslims generally do not understand this. And that's why you see problems all around. That's why you see bulk of the Muslim community, they hate the West, especially if the Muslims are in the Muslim world, for politics, for culture, for society, whatever. They not only disapprove of it, they hate it. And let's not play hide and seek. If you go to any mosque in the Muslim world and talk to the imams or the people who are leading the congregations, you will see most of them hate the West. Some of them will not talk about it or remain silent about it, but they do hate the West. You may say that why they come to the West is for many reasons, my friend. Primarily because of hypocrisy, because they would try to justify it for this is Allah's world and they are here to earn livelihood. But when Muhammad himself directly said clearly in unequivocal terms, the Muslims who are living amongst the mushrikeen or kafir, Muhammad has no responsibility towards them. So there is no, in fact, no justification for living in the Muslim world, in the non-Muslim world or the Western world for Muslims. But keeping all those apart, the main logic that Muslims are trained not to understand is you can hate the ideology, but at the same time you can love the person who is following that bad ideology. And you preach, you argue, you reason because you want to save that person from that wrong path. Very simple logic. But Muslims do not understand that generally. And they do not understand that because Quran doesn't differentiate between the two. When the Quran says that what the Jewish people are believing is disgusting, Quran says that Trinity, believing in Trinity, believing in that God begotten a son, this is disgusting. So God begetting a son is disgusting belief, and it doesn't stop there. It goes on to say that the people who believe in such disgusting views, they are the worst creatures. So the difference is not made. The same applies to Jewish people, pagans, and everybody. Hence, the effort of preaching Islam is confined to the responsibility that you have to tell them. That's it. You have to reason with them. And if they reject, it doesn't say go on preaching. Do your effort. Spend your life trying to call them to the truth. It emphasizes on overwhelmingly in hundreds of verses that their belief is disgusting, so they are disgusting because they are worst creatures. Surah 98 verse 6 very clearly, and there are many verses to condemn Jewish people, not Judaism, Jewish people. They are called treacherous except a few. So there is no differentiation made. So killing them until they believe, or persecuting them, harassing them, subduing them. Surah 9 verse 29 and 30, that's where it comes from. But on the other hand, if you think it from the other perspective, and even honestly with New Testament, if you see especially Jesus, what he says very clearly that love thy enemy. That's good enough. There are other things which I hate in the Bible, but this is amazing. Love thy enemy. You know he's your enemy. You know that his belief and your beliefs are different. You know that what he person is disgusting. But at the same time, you can still love him. And you love him because he's the creation of God. You love him that you have a responsibility towards him. That's what it is. You have to love him. And you love him, that's why you preach him. You love, because otherwise there's no reason. Because even Quran says that God doesn't give a damn about you believing or not, because he's God at the end of the day. So if he's God at the end of the day, you want to save that derailed person, the person on the wrong path, because you love him. That's what I'm doing. I'm preaching day and night against organized religions because I love humans. I love humanity. And this is my responsibility because I understand what humanity is all about. I'm an emancipated man. when you are a doctor, you hate the disease. You have to hate the disease. But you love the diseased person. So a doctor feels helpless when he knows that his patient is dying, but there is no treatment available. Then there are scientists who are researching day and night, dedicating their lives for finding a cure for the disease. That doctor probably doesn't even believe in any God, but he loves humanity. This is not recognized in Islam. In Islam, it doesn't recognize. That's why believing wholeheartedly, all this commanded that believe in wholeheartedly, otherwise you are not a Muslim. But at the same time, if you don't believe, if you pursue any other path other than Islam, you are someone condemned to be killed. So a sword is raised. If you believe, okay, that's it. You're okay. You're okay. Thumbs up. And for people of the book, the Christians and Jews, if they declare subordination to Muslims and pay taxes, jizya, okay, you're okay. You will be safeguarded. Although Muhammad said that when you are walking on the road, push them to the side of the road. They are there. But you will be harassed. Your life will be made hell, so that eventually you say, okay, I'm a Muslim, so you are out of that. But if you are a pagan, according to the last words of Muhammad, you should be driven out. That means Hindus should be driven out of the Muslim countries and other believers who are not of the people of the book. So it's irrelevant. It's irrelevant that whether you believe it from the heart or not, especially non-Muslims, you have to believe and you'll be saved. That's what it is, because they do not differentiate between, that loving a person and you can hate his ideology, and you love him, that's why you want to save him. Islam doesn't have anything about that. Nothing. Zero in the Quran. Zero. So love your enemy and at the same time hate what he believes. That's the way it should be. But in Islam, you love his belief, you hate his belief, so you hate him as well. You see, simple logic, not understood generally by Muslims, because in their faith, which they follow word for word, which is a totalitarian faith, there is nothing to guide them to that.